Dear Dhamma friend, it's time for the day's talk. May everyone settle down for the talk and give the consent 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Sache ajjamayang gochare charayama sake pettike visaye mayayam sakkunasya alang bhavishya yadidam yuddhatayati. Dear Dhamma friends, in this retreat, yesterday we started the series of talks with the particular discourse of the Buddha known as Sakunaggi Sutta, that appear in the Samyutta Nikaya, in Maha, whereby the Buddha explained how to be preventative in any vulnerable cases, so that you can avoid even a very powerful opposition if you be prepared. If we know the art of prevention is better than cure. It is being narrated or it is being presented as a way of an example. There was a very weak bird, a quail, gone to a vulnerable place, and when he was roaming around, wandering around, a hawk or another bird, hunting bird, came and catch the fellow. And while it is taking the small bird is lamenting or regretting, but in a specific way. It never blamed the bird came and catch, but this particular, the weak bird telling, it is my bad luck. It lack of my merits. I was wandering out of my proper area, proper domain. And that is why I got caught into the territory of others, vulnerable area. If only I had kept to my proper range or within my security area, today my own ancestors tell, that means wherever my mother and father is telling this is your secure area, this hawk would have been no match for me in the battle. So this prey, the caught-up bird, is telling, and the hawk is listening. The weak, the fragile bird is telling, this is my mistake. I roam around the unwanted area, and I being in my secure area, I would not have caught into this kind of a trouble. I can give a fight even to the hawk, even to the bird catcher. Then the hawk was asking, what do you mean by this secured area or your territory whereby you can get protection? I will release you even if you are in your protected area, in your domain, I can catch you. Telling that the hawk is releasing this quail. And then quail directly come back to the area where the plowed field, recently plowed field, harrowed field, and with a lot of lumps of earth. So when he come back, he feel at home. And now the second scene. The first one is gone, and then the second episode, again the quail feel, may I go on top of the lump so that I can see the world, I am quite free. And while he was there, he is now vigilant, he is now diligent, because once he got into trouble, and there he feels another bird coming, a bird hunter coming at a rate. So he feels like within no time, he just climbed down into the underneath the clump and then hiding there. And at that time, the hawk come and he can't stop his speed. Quickly the quail is hidden, the hawk come and hit upon the lump and fallen dead. So this is the example the Buddha is giving, and it is also remembering his past life, and this is he is relating with the yogi living in this world full of sensual pleasure or sexual pleasure, and then people get caught into so much of trouble, and once you caught up, only you have to say, sorry, there's no way out. Under such circumstances, if someone take refuge of the Buddha, the omniscient one, and they take the refuge of his teaching and his order of disciples, and then ready to restrain oneself, then the Buddha can help by teaching, by giving examples, how to take preventative action. So this releasing from this kind of distractions, according to the teaching of the Buddha, there are three kinds, or in a sense we can say three kinds of defilements can attack you. They are most obvious one is the most vicious. That is called transgressional kind of defilements. It's a different domain. And when and where you transgress the social norms or standard in the society, in common English we call do's and don'ts, whenever you transgress, trespass, you get into trouble, and there either you put into jail or put into the police or into the prison, or you will be punished, and no excuse. So whenever, for example, when I come to this country or to the other country, I must know what are the immigration rules, what are the things I can bring, what I can't, because it is being really explained. So before coming to the border, check, you must be ready. If it is so, he will consider you as a normal citizen, otherwise no mercy. So therefore you must know the do's and don'ts. Likewise in the spiritual domain, the transgression or thread pass rules are called sila sikha, or otherwise we can say morality restraint, and that is called 3 in physical, 4 in verbal. Physically, it's called you take a vow not to kill animals, not to take other things, misappropriation, and then sexual misconduct. So these are the 3 things. It is not considered as a Buddhist, but is a humanistic. Whatever may be the cultured society, civilized society, they are not accepting killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. So therefore, it is up to you to know this standard and try to do away with them, and that is what we call physical moral conduct. And the lying, slandering, tale carrying, and harsh words are called verbal. So knowing that if you are restrained, we are doing away from that, the teaching of the Buddha explained, you can entertain 4 kinds of security, or otherwise if you are transgressing them, 4 kinds of fear. Whenever you are freely doing killing, stealing and sexual misconduct, or lying, slandering, tale carrying or any harsh words, your heart itself is blaming you. It's called self-criticism. So therefore, more and more you to do physical and verbal misconduct, your self-criticism increases. So that is sometimes appear like tension or frustration, self-criticism. So it is a inbuilt system in the civilized society. So therefore, if you wish to have no such self-criticism, only one thing you have to do, you have to think about this moral misconduct. The second fear is the blames from the others, your relatives and your friends. They will find fault with you. Having such a medium path, if your tendency is towards more killing, stealing and sexual misconduct and verbal misconduct, and they are the people get hurt, and they will definitely criticize you. It is called criticism from others. So when you are living in the society, we being social beings, we must have peace among our close relatives and the friends. So therefore your behavior, good or bad, will represent by the criticism from the others. So they are not punishable physically, or they may be directly blaming you, but mentally I feel it like a cut-off of the communication. That leads to isolation. You will be cut off. Because they feel embarrassed, uncomfortable, as far as you are repeatedly doing mistakes, the others will slowly cut off you. So that is also leading to aloneness. Loneliness. So if you are not prepared, and immediately you will feel others are decasting you, put you aside, and there is no rapport, there is no friendly talks, or they will be distant. So if you wish not that kind of a misunderstanding or communication problem, you must understand to maintain the social norms, what is considered as good and what is considered bad. So they are the term meaning of appamada or diligence is you must not be negligent towards what you should do. So that is how we are growing in a society with so much of mutual understanding by doing our duties and responsibilities. As far as you are doing duties and responsibilities, the others will be happy to associate with you. In the same aspect, there's another side, not to do what you should not do. There also you must be very, very diligent. This is the most serious lacking part in the civilized society. They are very concerned about doing duties and the responsibilities and loving kindness and compassion to the others. And more you do, you expect your duties are fulfilled so that you will have the satisfactory life or happiness in your way. But if you do not know, not only fulfilling duties towards others, there are something you should not do. So therefore you must be diligently know what you should not do and don't do it before become a delay. So this is the part more related to the religion than the spirituality. or philosophical part. So this, our mind is turning our deaf ear, mind never look at it. So therefore our relatives and friends are doing that job. They will come and tell you, these are the things that you should do away with. And that is how the elderly people, godmother, godfather, spiritual teachers, and the true people, they come and do in a beautiful way. So if you are not diligent, if you are not heeding, if you are not listening, and worry only about what you should do, still you are in trouble. So that part, you must be very sensitive, must be very civilized, otherwise very difficult to keep the balance. So whenever you come to the spiritual sphere, or mindfulness or meditation, this part becomes very, very prominent. That is why the precepts are telling, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't kill, don't steal, don't do sexual misconduct. Do not use, do not lie, harsh words, slandering, and tail carrying. So they are all 7 things, physical and verbal, indicate not to do. To not to do, it is not very expensive. To not to do, there is nothing to go to another place. And therefore, this moral conduct, restraint, you have the full capacity, or you have the full possibilities, you have the full potential. Only thing is your ignorance. Only thing is your mind, your ear, your eye is not happy to see them, happy to listen to them. So that is the part we are catalyzing by living in a society like this, or retreat atmosphere, and listening, understanding and brushing again and again. Not only we are worrying about the things that we should do, but here we are very concerned about not to do what we should not do. That aspect is called diligence. And if you look at it, mostly you see not the diligence, but the negligence. So, for that, there are 2 kinds of ignorance. It is simple unknowing. You don't know these things are come under the domes. So simple unknowing, we can replace by giving a Dhamma talk or giving moral conduct, asking you to take care about this restraint. The other thing is misunderstanding. Your mind interprets them in such a way to facilitate your sexual pleasure and the sensual pleasure, sensuous pleasure. So even if you know, you interpret in a crooked way, you interpret in a perverse way, and then you become case hardening. Even others going to say, you are interpreting in your way that is called arrogance, or you are not innocent, you are not honest. So that is very difficult to erase. The simple unknowing, we can replace it by teaching. That is what the Aquinas brought into the cardinals, telling that each and every one is having certain amount of will. Therefore, if we can teach them, they will be better. So he considered the father of education in the Western sphere. And so it went little against the God, telling that if the 100% it is created by the God, what the hell that individual willpower can do. But the Aquinas managed to prove into the other cardinals, by teaching, you can make civilized man. That is about simple unknown. But even after 200 odd years, that itself is now in a question. Because in a country like Sri Lanka, most higher education institutes are full of a mess. Universities, postgraduate institutes and all the places, daily they are on strike or they are this and that fight. More and more educated, more and more arrogance. And more dishonest. So even the education, the whole fight, the father Aquinas sport, still questionable. But the worst thing is, not the simple unknowing, misperception. We are full of misperception. We are full of perverted mind. In order to fulfill our sexual and sensual desire, we just interpret the things in such a way, in that way, the spiritual books, holy books are the worst interpreted thing on the earth. If you read the spiritual scriptures, they are clearly indicating this is don'ts and don'ts. There's no difference as such like the Buddhist scriptures, canon, Mahayana, Thero, or the Bible, or the Quran, whatever may be. They are clearly indicated, but when you interpret to suit into your desire, the interpretation goes completely against the grain. That is, therefore it has become incurable. So whenever you try to be simple, honest, and innocent, you have to rethink about misperception. So the faith for believing, there's a huge amount of misperception. That's why this misconcept, misperception, wrong view, we have to facilitate in 5 ways. First, you have to take precepts or sila, anugaita. As you are again rethink about the don'ts and don'ts. The second thing is listening. Listen again as a beginner. Don't listen through your preconceived ideas, premeditated things, and your liking and disliking. Just listen as a beginner. So therefore, it's an art. Listening is an art, just like a beginner. And the third one is the discussion, where you can clarify. So you have to tell your view. I look at this from my view. With that, I got this experience. But hardly you consider this aspect when you are writing or when you are interpreting something, because whatever you see, whatever you hear, it is colored through your likings and dislikes. And it is not easy for the beginner to understand how much coloration, how much decoration, how much interpretation I do to my basic seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting and touching. Or simply it says, till you become enlightened, you can't explain things as they are. Or you can't explain what did you see. You often explain what did you wish to think, what it should be, rather than what is happening. Hearing, the worst example is with this IT technology in the world. If you're listening to the news channels, you can see how much they are bending the truth, how much they are changing the governments, how much they are adjusting your likings and disliking, how much they are bombarding advertisements day by day. Ultimately, you don't know why you are doing like that. They know the art. So therefore, as far as we are living in the media world, we also take it as a no. The truth, or it is simply, it says, the common sense becomes so uncommon on the today's world. So everything is being twisted. Everything is blended. And if you can twist it, you get Nobel Prize, Magsaysay Prize, and all the kind of prizes. If you wish to have, you must know how to bend, how to put into according, suit into their likings and disliking. So therefore, teaching of the Buddha or other scriptures, they become outdated. They are telling only four things: the suffering, the cause for suffering, and release for suffering, and the way out of suffering. So it is nothing new. So any old thing, if you twist into, titillate your sensuous pleasure or sexual pleasure, you will find that is called novels. That's called teledrama. That's called everything. So world is full of that. So there you can understand how much we are fertilizing misperception without understanding. So therefore, this even others going to tell out of compassion, you have no openness to listen it as a beginner. So therefore, the second fear, the criticism from the others, is as far as you are living in this civilized world, more you become old, more you become regrettable, considering the past. The younger age know much of history, so you can live happily. But more you become elderly, more you become educated, more you become rich, and more you become popular, so much so, the tension and the frustration. Because you are violating the social norms in terms of communication and all kind of thing, but you are not ready to accept it. You always give your own interpretation. So that is what in the interviews have been always asked, just write your experience. When and where you bring the attention to your body or attention to your primary object for the in-breath and out-breath, or rising and falling, or whatever it may be, or your left leg and right leg, what did you experience? What did you experience? Under your very nose. And once you read, please write, once you write, please read it and see how much you have adjusted it to fit into your likings and dislikings, so much so the facts, the direct experience is become so difficult to communicate. So therefore, day by day you have to understand our misunderstanding must be straightened, not only by precepts, not only by listening, by interviews and write reports on the interview reports and the discussion. And with that, the concentration meditation, you have to calm down all the senses, eye, ear, nose, tongue, and the body. So here the technical aspect is, don't look. Even you happen to see something, don't take time to look at something. Seeing can happen. Don't listen, hearing, let hearing happen. It is passive. It is no concern about the meditation. Whenever you are hearing only, you are committed because it is volitional. And this smell, taste, touch. So whatever happens, no problem. But whenever you do volitionally, listening, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, their stream of consciousness get utterly violated. But it is being violated even if it is happening. Instead of looking, seeing can happen, still it may be violating. Instead of listening, hearing can happen, still it may be violating. And tasting, smelling, touch can happen. But that you can't do away with. So therefore you have to sympathize it. And in the concentration meditation, you cut off everything and focus your attention, advert your attention, avenue your attention to what is happening here and now, under your very nose. And even if you manage to get this kind of direct experience, unless otherwise you report it to something, the experience will not be galvanized. It will not be reinforced. So that is why we get together and discuss each other. By expressing only, we try to cut through all the premeditated ideas, volitional activities and interpretation. We try to just communicate the direct experience. And there nothing can happen other than except the calm down of the mind, collected onto the present moment, or settling down. So this is called concentration. The facilitating your misconceived and wrong views with the concentration by settle down, and then the water will be calm down and see through. Then you look at the water body and see the bottom, and on top of the water body you can see your face. So if you imagine turbulent water in a pond or in a glass of water, whatever may be, if you let them to settle down, then the water becomes see-through gradually. And when the surface becomes flat, we be reflecting the thing in the natural way, and see-through can happen. So in our mindful school, whenever we get children, we bring a mind jar that is a small transparent bottle of water mixed up with some particles and little coloration. We jerk it. When you are jerking, all the particles become agitated and you can see the turmoil. And when you let it calm down, every particle will settle down, then anyone can see. The water becomes transparent and settled. And you ask the children what you have to do to calm down. Just be. Anything you do is turbulating, making turbulence. So keep it on your hand, or keep it on your desk, or on the chair, and calm down. So therefore concentration means, or concentration, facilitating the concentration means just doing nothing. That's the worst thing and most difficult thing on the earth. Just doing nothing. If you do nothing, to calm it down is inevitable. So we can understand in day by day in our active life how much we are agitating. Not only your stream of consciousness, you try your level best to agitate your partner or the friends and the relatives. So as far as you people are here, your family members will be very happy. But at home, you are not there to disturb them. So much. So definitely I know the Nissarana is very happy because I am not there. But as far as I am there, I do this, don't do this, this you have to do next, and all the thing, interpretation and commands and demands present. So when I am not there, I know they are enlightened. To the concentration meditation, how much complications they are making on the meditation world you can go when you go to a meditation center. How much they are complicating you. The concentration meditation, let it just be. Calm down. I'll come into that a little later. And then only once that see-through happens, once the superficial, the surface of the layer of the water becomes settled, then only reflection can happen. Reflection will be new, natural. It will reflect your face. It will reflect the other shore of the lake. So that reflection, you can't do it without concentration. When the concentration happens, you have to look at it. And then you can see it's a really reflective. So that is also, there is something you have to do. And that is why we say, it's you have to facilitate it. So that is why it says that in this restraint, you are facilitating your crooked mind, your disturbed mind, your perturbed mind to come up to the normal level, to its at-home experience. And to do that, just like this quail. You must know you have a safe domain. You have your territory. You have your pasture land. You have your parental secure place, and that is an birthright. You are born with that. There's nothing imposed, nothing given by grace, or nothing by prayer. You are born with this. Only thing is, you are agitating it. Soon you stop agitating. Calming down start. So even after enlightenment, the Buddha, one day a god or celestial being came and asked, Bhante, are you happy? He says, for what gain? Are you sad or not happy? For what lost? Did Bhante, you are not happy, not sad? That is the appropriate word the Buddha says. Because even by enlightening, he gets nothing. Even by the enlightening, he lost nothing. Because you are born with enlightenment. You don't know. By restraint only you can understand what a wonderful mind. What a beautiful world. What a gladness we are in. Unless otherwise we are agitating. So therefore that bird, even after get caught up with the hawk, it knows it is my mistake. I went to the wrong domain. That's why I got caught up. Had I been at my domain, even to hawk, I can give a fight. I can face. Then that became a challenge to the hawk. Then only hawk says, okay, if you feel you really weak bird telling that you can give a fight, I release you. Go and try. Even at your secure domain, I can catch you. So, in the second time, the quail just climb up the lump and give a show up to the hawk. And he do not know where the fellow is. And soon he feel that hawk is just like an arrow coming. He just hide under the lump. And then hawk can't stop the speed, come and hit. So therefore it is not I would say in this way. So the adventurous way the Buddha is teaching us. He is not unwantedly binding us. He says you have complete capacity, complete possibility, complete potential. And at the danger, or at the face of danger, if you are diligent enough, if you are prepared enough, you must know immediately to go into your secure domain. And if you know it, still, even if you know your secure domain, you can go and expose yourself in even in a vulnerable area. No problem, because immediately you can come back to your secure domain. So this whole retreat is to introduce what is the pasture land. That's a parental secure place, but the secure domain, because any time the hawk can come. Any time the falcon is ready. Don't consider it as a bad omen or it's your past karma. No, that is the world. Don't give the wrong attribution to it. It is always ready because we are in a food chain. The small animal is the prey of the big animal. Survival of the fittest. So it is already set. You must understand, not that indicate you must always be in your under the lump of clay. You can come top of the clay. You can be aware. Now the hawk is on the way. Still not too late. Still not too late. And there are few suttas, the Buddha explained how much your radical reflection can save you, how much your scout-like adventurous thinking can bring you at home very quickly, so that you can give a challenge A quail can give a challenge even to a hawk. No problem. So that is, the Buddhist people find it is not religious enough. Because these techniques are very, very radical, very, very non-traditional. And when you are learning it, you have to understand to live in this multitasking world, live in this social world. If you do not know them, it is not the mistake of the sensuous pleasure or the sexual pleasure. Because you don't know either by simple unknowing or by your misconception. And towards the Buddhism and Buddhist teaching also, Buddhist and non-Buddhist both, they have both the disqualifications, simple unknowing and misconception. So when you come to from the normal Buddhist domain to the meditation domain, or to specifically in the Vipassana domain, they are the specific tools open for you to understand if we have the normal moral conduct and if we have the desire to be enlightened by the mind or by the wisdom, and if you have enough experience, then you can simply use these tactics and there you can live a normal life. Still, you must know the way back home. As far as you know the way back home, you are almost enlightened. You get the full benefits of enlightenment, but you have to verify it, you have to season it, you have to make your way of life. It takes a long time. But you do it like a hobby. It is not a burden for you because you know wherever you may be, there's a way back home and the secure land is there. It's a birthright. So, with the knowledge of your way back home, with the knowledge of your domain, not that always you have to be at your domain. Domain means under the lump of clay. You can do your normal day-to-day life, but you are very vigilant, very diligent, you know the danger, and immediately, without asking anyone else, if you know the way back home, then you feel like adventurous. Whenever danger happens, you never ask someone. You are not waiting for any tactic. We are not waiting for any formula. We are not waiting to open the book and read. Immediately you know the way back home. So therefore, in Zen teaching, it says, as far as the yogis are concerned, wherever it may be, you are on the way back home. Because even the mistakes happen, they are not irreversible mistakes. They have their due punishment, but still you can continue with this radical reflection and this non-conventional way to come back home, because it is under no one's authority. So after, when you are coming from the moral conduct to the concentration restraint, that is of samatha sikkha, that is what happened basically in the meditation center. If you are in a residential retreat, within the first few days, you are adjusting into the timetable and to the people and to the food and to the sleeping habit. So while it is happening, the slowly concentration sets in. Or calming down sets in. So for that, the Buddha give not this example. In another sutta, he says, as far as we are in the sexual or sensuous world, outside world, or we can say the household life, our eye, ear, nose, tongue, the body and the mind, only following the pleasure principle. Always eye is asking for different colors and different shapes. So that is why the television, color television and 3D is ever increasing, and you feel you are advancing and you become rich as far as you have all the possibilities to see different colors and different shapes. and you are going picnic and traveling everywhere, it is to satisfy your eye, and not a single person on the human kind died with satisfactory or satisfaction with eye. So at the death they are desperate, not enough. Still they are searching. Of course we know we are a little better than our parents. And we are better than grandparents. Because by pressing a button we can see anything and every gadgets are there. But we have a lot of eye problems and they are in classes than parents and the grandparents. So we keep on doing but still not enough. And you know huge amount of scientists even this very moment searching about how to get different colors and different shapes. If possible from the other planets or other galaxies. So they are making the microscope and telescope and so much of it. So this is our day-to-day life. And as far as the sounds are concerned, music, Dolby, stereo, refined, FM, all the kind of thing. And so much so, they can make your talk adjusted and you can put into the television and say, you told like that. So anything you write, you can put into someone's voice and voice changing, anything can happen. Recently I saw there's an app. If you are an eye person, you can volunteer on behalf of a blind person. And the blind person tell, you look and your message will go to his eye and he feel like he see. So it's a matter of just adjusting it. You ask that particular person to look at that and then that message is being transferred to this particular person's faculty. And then he can see. So hearing. So we are in the sensuous world and developing, advancing, become rich and rich. And then smells and the tastes and the kind of cars and cushions and the furniture ever developing. And then free thinking ever developing, more and more it happens. The restraint become uncivilized thing. Free world, free thinking. So that is being called the human rights or human achievement. So for the last 200 years, it expanded in exponential. With the technology and the IT, things are developing, but to see the amount of frustration, amount of detention, more than 40% of the population is uncurable. They are in the medical field because the tension increases, frustration increases, suicide rate increases. In America itself, it says 1,000 veterans are committing suicide for each month. 26% per day. They can't bear it up. They have all the facilities, but the mind becomes so much exhausted. So they ask him, what is the purpose of living? And it is coming down to the younger age, even young children, even for small things, they kill each other or they commit suicide. So this is the world we call household life. So when we are living in it, some people give a reflection, what is after all at the deathbed? More and more you agitate and more behind the pressure principle, and what is the last episode at the death? So more and more you to the sensuous pleasure, you have no control, you don't know what is going to happen. Imagine if you are believing a reincarnation or rebirth, the last thought moment decides the next life. So we have to reborn in our granddaughter's womb. If at all with the best of merits, otherwise you will be on a beach or in another serpent's womb. But the best, we can be human. And then we will be reborn in our granddaughter's womb, and then what will be their moral values. What a rate of erosion happening, and even still that she have good merits. So, knowing that, imagine someone wish to see, can I do something before the death? Can I look into the scripts, spiritual thing, and is there any way to find an answer? Then on the religious aspect, the spiritual aspect come into being. And there, he has to escape. Escape from this pleasure principle. Escape from this society at large. That is why the meditation centers, forest retreats, sitting under a tree, or go to a solitude place happen. So you know, each of us, each of you, how much difficult and what radical decision to leave from your day-to-day life and come to a place like this. It is each and everyone is a great challenge. Buddha gave a very classic example according to the Indian background. He says, imagine a very old person married to a girl, lady also very old. They are living in a katan hut. That means made out of leaves. And it is so worn out. The crow can come from this end to go through the house. It is so, how do you call it? Very old and we can't repair it. And there is a kind of a coconut shell or kind of a shell in there. There are some moon beings or kind of little handful of beings. That's the only property inside the house. So they have something to eat for the tomorrow morning. And after that they have to earn for the next meal. And they have a worn out sickle. I don't know whether you know the sickle. It's to cut grasses and cut grains. You use a kind of small knife-like thing. It's also worn out, that is there. So the husband has to go after the eating that grain to earn something. And the wife also very old, house also very old. There is no furniture. And even with that kind of a condition, that particular person finds difficult to renounce from that old lady. Very difficult to renounce from that old house, that old sickle. Imagine a person with the kingly and princely facilities leaving the household to go in search of peace of mind. It's such an adventurous thing. Whatever may be your walk of life. So we are happy, in a sense, before becoming too late, we have decided to take few hours or few days or rest of your life. So our family members and our dear and near ones think we are psychologically something wrong. Before my ordination, my elder brother, we had a face-to-face discussion. And I told I am about to leave, and after 8 to 9 years of practice, without letting them know, that was my skill. We are very intimate, but no one knows that I am practicing mindfulness. And I was testing everything, and at last I decided tomorrow morning I am leaving. And luckily he came, and I told. Then he told, I have observed something wrong with you. Definitely I suggest. My younger brother also was there. What about going to a psychiatrist? Then I told, luckily I know all the psychiatrists in this area. So I told, I am not going to pay for the transport. I am not going to pay for the psychiatrist. But we have to agree, we have to believe what is the psychiatrist going to say. Because it is none of our business, we'll go there. Then he told, hey guy, listen to me. You are in an ideology. Present day, this is impossible. He's a communist. Hard believer of communist. And he said, it is wrong. And I told, yes. You married your loved girls. I have no any objection. I treated to help you for your marriage. This is my marriage. Why you are going against? Why do you call it a marriage? I told this is more than a marriage. I was planning my life, 8 years. Now he says, not that I am going to take you to the psychiatrist, but please rethink. Then I told, I did it for 9 years. And even though it is not expressed, the mother also had the kind of affection. Utterly it will be a failure. And without a wife, and without a job, what will happen to my youngest son? She also cried. So this is the word. Even this renunciation, it is nothing happened to your spiritual life just by renouncing. It is just renouncing the movable and unmovable properties. But you are the very same person. So once you renounce and come and sit on your cushion, what happens? You're half mad. At home you can manage something. If you feel bored and if you feel monotonous, you can go and see the television. Or you can phone. Or you can see the newspapers. But here when you come and sit on the cushion, if you feel bored, if you feel monotonous, what will happen? So the Buddha says, as far as you are in the household life, you are with sensuous pleasure. It is multifaceted. Eye-wise, so much of shapes and colors. Ear-wise, so much of Western music, Eastern music, rock music, classic music, and normal birds singing, all the kind of thing. And the smell-wise, and the taste-wise, morning, lunch, evening, intermediate meals, and drinks, and cocktails, and so much of things. And the facilities and the comfort, the body is concerned, different model of cars, different cushions, different seatings, different beddings, and different clothings, ever increasing. And mad kind of thinking, anything. But when you come and sit on the cushion, close your eyes, and if it is silent place, easiest way to go mad. So, meditators or mendicants, wherever they live, some people say they are living in an asylum. Their living place is called asylum from the sensuous beings. So, whenever the Prince Siddhartha renounced the house, he went to an unknown domain so that his father cannot touch, wife cannot touch, because the newly born baby is there. So when you go there, it appears like a challenge to the civilized world. It appears like a challenge to the father, the king. It appears like a challenge to the newlywed wife and to the child. So therefore it is against the grain. Imagine the first day, he went collecting alms. He went with the ball. No one taught. And different people put different kind of foods. Previous day he was a prince, everything served on the golden plate with so much of maidens and fanning and everything. Today he got a ball in the different kind of food and he was open it, the vomitish feeling came from him. How to eat? So then he made up his mind telling, today onward, whatever it may be, I have to put up with this. So start eating from the one end to the other end. And then there is no beddings, only the 3 rows and the board, and living this life. So from his side, living from all the princely and kingly facilities, and from the outside world-wise, he is a challenger. He is a revolutionary person, telling the social norms. And whenever going to sit and close his eyes, and with silence, will mind calm and settle down on your body? The Buddha says, instead of this sexual and sensual pleasure, the sensuous perception, the memory of what all you did come like a broken dam of a reservoir. This is the first time you understand whenever no bombarding of the visual objects, whenever there is no bombarding of the different sounds, no different smells to your olfactory system, no stimulation for your taste buds, and bodily posture is not changing, and you are applying the mind on the same boring, monotonous, lethargic object. So very easy to say the shortcut to madness. The shortcut to madness. So, whatever the results may be, doing itself is very, very adventurous. Imagine if you are gone without instructions, what kind of hopes you have, what kind of expectation you have, what kind of liking and disliking you have, what kind of result orientation you have, because you renounce with some expected results. But when you go and sit, never, no one ever get of the expected results. So this is a question the Buddha answerable. It's the question the Buddha is answerable. So you have to ask Buddha. Bhante, you set an example. You taught us to renounce and we came with so much of faith. What happens? So much of hopes. What happens? Then the Buddha says, hey darling, this is not only for you, this is the universal truth. So I know you are going to ask this question. Do you know by renouncing you renounce difficulties or you earn some difficulties? Everyone is earning new sets of difficulties. But the Buddha is ready-made with the answer. He says, now only you know, as far as you are fertilizing sensuous pleasure, you don't know the other side of the sensuous pleasure. Now you are going to do away with that, then you can see they are chasing behind you, your past memory, your perception, never allow you even for a split second, even in the sleep. Now only you see what the kind of momentum. Once you renounced, only you know. And imagine if you go back home, you are accumulating more onto this momentum. So therefore when you come there and face it, and there you have to have an assembly ground, a safety domain. You must have pivotal point. You must have a reference ground, reference point, benchmark. You must have a primary object. Then only you have something to do. Keep the mind as much as possible amidst of all disturbed situation, how much you can keep it in the present moment. So, according to the terminology of the Buddha, the household life is concerned, kama guna. Kama guna means huge amount of sensuous pleasure. And once renounced, instead of kama guna, kama sanya, the memory of the sensuous pleasure comes in 5 forms. Sensuous desire, hatred, sleepiness, perplexed mind in the past and the future, and the doubts. All are due to past memory or shadows or perception of the sensuous pleasure. So now, whenever you purposefully cut off the sensuous bombardment, then you can see under the carpet what is happening. And that never ceases by itself. You have to replace it by a materialistic object, verifiable object, benchmark, or assembly ground, or safe domain. So what you are doing is just like an elderly person learning second language, again and again apply mind to this secure place or materialistic object we call primary object. Imagine the day you gain certain amount of momentum to keep your mind with the primary object, knowing the hawk is waiting there, falcon is waiting there, and while it is coming like an arrow, how to get into your primary object. And there is a practical utility value or defensive value why you should appreciate your primary object. How many ways and means you have to think about to bring the attention from back at home to keep it, even though it is a boring thing, even though it is monotonous thing, even though it is not tasteful thing, while all the other stimulating kind of visual objects, sounds, thoughts, smell, taste are waiting to come and bombard. So under such circumstances, you have to proceed like a person learning tightrope walking. So this is a kind of a challenging task. So we will go tomorrow a little further along that. So I hope you can remember this while you are sitting and while you are in walking meditation, to bring your basic task is to bring the quail under the clog of clay and keeping your mind as much as possible in your primary object, and that you have to do yourself. No any other merit or skill of other person thing can compensate. So that is what we do. Hope this is catalyzing your existing current effort, and you will be more in success because you are not fighting a losing battle, you are fighting a winning battle. Thank you very much for listening.